First of all, thank you for the invitation, Mr. Eggersmann. I'd like to speak about RDF for municipal solid waste and especially the opportunities in the growth and in technical equipments for the processing of municipal solid waste into RDF. A short introduction about our company, a recapture of alternative fuels. What are alternative fuels? How can alternative fuels be processed? The status of alternative fuels in the cement industry worldwide, so that you can see which growth potential is available with the processing of alternative fuels. How to develop such projects and how to process municipal solid waste into RDF. First of all, a short introduction about our company, Dirk Lechtenberg. We are consultants, advisors for the processing of alternative fuels from municipal solid waste and other waste. We are also the editors of the Alternative Fuels and Raw Materials Handbook in the cement and lime industry. This handbook you will find in every second cement plant in the world. We are doing trainings, workshops together with cement associations all over the world, and we have been developing projects for all cement groups in the world, but also for other industries like coal-fired power plants, lime industries, for waste management companies and institutions, governments all over the world. What are alternative fuels? First of all, we are dividing alternative fuels in solid and liquid ones. Today we will speak mainly about solid alternative fuels, especially about refuse-derived fuels or biomass-derived fuels. Refuse-derived fuels from municipal solid waste or from commercial and industrial wastes. This is a selection of various alternative fuels both from commercial industrial waste, but you see also RDF from household waste, sewage sludge, waste wood and many others. Why is the cement industry using alternative fuels? First of all, when you look at the calorific value, you see that the RDF or that other biomasses have a quite high calorific value, around 4 to 4,500 kilocalories. Why I'm speaking in kilocalories? The cement industry is a very old and conservative industry, so it's always speaking in kilocalories and not in kilojoule. But to divert it in kilojoule, you just need to multiply it by 4.1. The cement industry is using alternative fuels since around 50 years. The process conditions in the cement plant are ideal to process any type of waste in an environmental friendly and sustainable manner. They have a very high temperature of up to 1450 degrees. They have a long retention time above 5 seconds above 1200 degrees. So when you look at the hazardous waste incineration plant, the temperature needs to be above 1150 degrees. So the conditions in a cement plant are ideal to process refuse-derived fuels or alternative fuels. There are certain possibilities to feed in alternative fuels in a cement kiln. First of all, in the calciner or at the main burner. Co-processing is recognized as a sustainable waste management solution because it has the highest energy efficiency, even higher than in a waste-to-energy facility. The ashes of the process are combined into the clinker matrix, so you don't have any residues. If you build a waste-to-energy facility and you burn municipal solid waste, still you have around 1/3 of material which is remaining as slag and ash which you have to dispose of. Not in a cement plant, because the ashes are combined in the clinker matrix. So it's recognized in the recycling hierarchy as recycling. Before, when we look at the cement industry, the world cement production in 2014 was around 4.3 billion tons. 56% of the cement production is happening nowadays in China, and the rest in the rest of the world. Okay? 4.3 billion tons of cement. And in almost every country in the world you find cement plants. Many cement plants in Germany started to use alternative fuels some 30 years ago. So when I started to work in the industry, the substitution rate, so the usage of alternative fuels in the cement industry, was just starting. Nowadays, the thermal heat in the German cement industry in average is 63 or 64%. 64% of the thermal heat demand in the German cement industry is provided by alternative fuels. That the consumption in the worldwide cement industry is around 150 million tons. 150 million tons current use of alternative fuels in the cement industry. There's a huge potential in the cement industry to use more alternative fuels and a big appetite to use more alternative fuels because alternative fuels are cheaper than fossil fuels. This is the main driver. We made some rough calculation. If we achieve a 20% substitution rate, only 20% substitution rate, the total demand for refuse-derived fuels in the worldwide cement industry will be around 160 million tons. If we increase to 60% substitution rate, which is the current average usage of alternative fuels in Germany, it will end up to around 500 million tons of alternative fuels. 500 million tons. I will give you some examples of waste streams which can be processed into alternative fuels. Used tires are common practice to be used in the cement industry. You have old corrugated cardboard, you have paper which cannot be recycled, you have biomass such as rice husk, you have mixed plastics packaging. A very important theme, especially now in Europe after China has closed the borders. Carpet and wax. So many defined industrial streams which can be processed easily into alternative fuels. But let's concentrate on municipal solid waste, where you have a mixture of everything. These are pictures from projects all over the world, in Pakistan, in India, in Egypt, in many countries. And the waste always is different. So how can you process this waste into alternative fuels? First of all, by knowing exactly what you're feeding and what you have. So we are doing waste sorting tests. These are some examples in India, Pakistan, Lebanon, Turkey, Macedonia. The waste is sorted to define what is the fraction which can be processed into alternative fuels and what is the fraction of organic waste which have to be processed into compost or fertilizer or whatever. So we know exactly the percentage of RDF yield which can be further used. In average, or in this example, you see in this area the types of waste which can be processed into alternative fuels. This is unfortunately only a fraction of 23%. Means you have to process 1,000 tons of municipal solid waste to yield 230 tons of RDF. This is not much. Processing can be done easily if you screen, pre-sort, primary shredding, heavy fraction separation to separate stones, metals, heavy parts, and then the secondary shredding to get a defined grain size. But this is a small facility. This facility is in operation in Portugal, a project which we have done, I think, 10 years ago, where the company Eggersmann also delivered parts of the equipment with optical sorting systems, drum screens and others. But there are also bigger projects for municipalities. It's a huge facility. The material comes delivered by normal trucks. It's unloaded in the reception hall. Then the material is transported by a fully automated crane to drum screens, light and heavy fraction separation, optical sorting systems to take out PVC, to take out recyclables, then hand picking to separate clean organics for compost and fertilizer, again ferrous metal separation, and at the end a fraction which is processed into RDF. I'd like to show you a small video.
Israel is constantly growing, and the Tel Aviv area is a hub of business, tourism, and vibrant modern progress. But modern life and higher living standards have a price. Increasing amounts of waste, 3,000 tons of it daily in the Tel Aviv area alone. The Dan Municipal Sanitation Association operates the Chiria Recycling Park and strives to provide a national role model for developing and adopting effective technologies for dealing with municipal solid waste, turning it into a resource, and reducing the amount sent to landfills. For over a decade, against all odds, the association has promoted the RDF project as the best possible way to treat the waste of the Tel Aviv metropolitan area. In a cooperative effort with Nesher, Israel's leading cement manufacturer, and the Verities Group, pioneer in ecology and infrastructures in Israel, the RDF plant was built, a state-of-the-art facility that sorts mixed municipal waste and produces waste-based RDF fuel, as well as various recyclable products. RDF, turning waste into energy. Hundreds of garbage trucks from 25 towns in the Tel Aviv area dump municipal solid waste at the Chiria site each day. The RDF plant is expected to take in over 1,500 tons of garbage daily, about half the waste produced in the Tel Aviv area. Household, industrial, and commercial waste is loaded into shredders and bag openers. From there, it's conveyed to sorting lines. The waste is sorted without human intervention. It is sorted according to size by trommel screens. At this point, organic matter is separated out and sent to a facility which turns it into agricultural fertilizer. Bellows separate different types of waste according to their specific weight. Metals containing iron are sorted by a powerful magnet. Aluminum products are sorted using a weaker magnetic field. Optic sorting identifies substances using infrared rays. All processes in the plant are fully supervised. The quality of the RDF is constantly measured and tested. The dry waste residue with high caloric value is used as an energy source. This fuel substitute is called RDF, refuse-derived fuel. During the manufacturing process, the refuse is conveyed to shredders and shredded into even 15 to 25 centimeter particles, which are conveyed to the RDF storerooms. The plant is expected to produce about 500 tons of RDF fuel substitute a day. Waste that used to be sent to landfills is now sent to the Nesher plant in Ramla, where it's used as a substitute for petroleum-based fossil fuels. RDF is used as combustible material for the cement kilns, replacing about 20% of the petroleum-based fuel consumed at the plant. RDF is recognized worldwide as an environmentally friendly fuel substitute. Using RDF reduces greenhouse gas emissions compared to petroleum-based fuels. So next time you see a new building, neighborhood, bridge, or interchange being built in Israel, remember that our waste is a partner in Israel's growth and development. The RDF plant is an Israeli pioneer in recycling and turning waste into energy. When resources and technologies are combined with public willingness to change consumption and recycling habits, it's no wonder that this joint effort to ensure a clean, sustainable future bears fruit. Hiria Recycling Park, the Dan Municipal Sanitation Association.
RDF waste contains moisture, so you have more heat losses due to the evaporation. You also need more air in the cement plant. This is too complicated, and you have to compensate it by additional petcoke or fossil fuels. And you have an increase in the consumption of energy for the clinker production. So it's of utmost importance to dry municipal solid waste before you process it into RDF. Typical drying processes is the biological drying process. With the biological treatment, you have a maximum discharge of water out of the input material in a very short time. The dried material is easier to separate, so you can increase your capacity, and you have a significant reduced water content in the RDF. In the biological treatment and drying process, the material is treated within a certain period of 9 to 10 days. With the aerobic process, the temperature increases, and you see the temperature is stable for a certain time and the water is evaporated. With such a process, it's possible to reduce the moisture content from, let's say, 40% to 15–20% within 1 week. What does it mean? Drying. There's several technologies also offered by the company Eggersmann, which you have seen here for the biological drying. If you dry the municipal solid waste before the production of RDF, we're coming back to the picture which I have shown you. In the normal process, you have to treat 1,000 tons to get 230 tons of RDF. If we dry the fraction, we can increase this from 1,000 tons to 380 tons. Means your process has a higher yield, a higher recycling rate, extraction, and more output of RDF which you can sell to the cement industry. So in summary, coming to the end, alternative fuels will become a regular fuel. As already started in Western Europe and in Germany and in many other countries, I'm sure that within the next 10 years' time, almost all cement plants in the world will use alternative fuels. So they will need municipal solid waste and companies which are processing municipal solid waste into RDF. At 20% substitution rate, only this amount will be around 160 million, 65 million tons of RDF. With 60% substitution, which is easily to achieve in the big kilns in many countries, this will be a quantity of 500 billion ton per year. 500 billion. With modern drying technologies, you can increase the yield, the RDF yield, which offer a sustainable waste management solution for the waste management companies and for the municipalities. With new technologies, you have sustainable and competitive processing capacities, which also will give a change in mindset, because everybody knows that the century of coal has gone and we are now in the starting century of alternative fuels. If you like to hear more about alternative fuels, we have our own booth in Hall A6, number 229. It's the German Waste Management Association, but I'm also here for the next 1 or 2 hours or so, and we can speak also tomorrow at 4 o'clock and on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Thank you very much.